I'm Darrell Brown, Conservation Law Foundation's Vice President for Rhode Island. For those of you who may not know about CLF, we're a nonprofit organization dedicated to protecting New England's environment for the benefit of all people. For nearly 60 years, CLF has used the law, science, and markets to create solutions that preserve our natural resources, build healthy communities, and sustain a vibrant economy. In short, we make existing protections work harder for Rhode Islanders and all New Englanders. We push for new protections when they don't exist, and we actively sue polluters by taking them to court and hold them accountable. So today, we gather on the steps of our state capitol to rally for the planet and to honor the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It is because of Dr. King's vision and courage that we live today in a more just society. All of you know of Dr. King for his role in the civil rights movement, but it is important to recognize his fight for the environment and environmental justice. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Dr. King said these words, which have resonated within the environmental justice movement. Everyone, regardless of their background, wants the opportunity to strive, thrive, and live on a healthy planet. But for too long, people in power have forced some communities to live with too much pollution and other environmental harms that prevent them from thriving. Those unequally distributed harms are what the environmental justice movement aims to address. This intersection of the civil rights and environmentalism is not just a modern day concern. It stems from the principle Dr. King championed and for which he was assassinated. Dr. King fought against economic and racial injustice. He understood that true equality could not be achieved without addressing the systemic inequalities that affect people's lives. Environmental justice is a continuation of Dr. King's fight for human and civil rights. In 1968, during the Memphis sanitation workers' strike, Dr. King advocacy converged with environmental justice. The Memphis sanitation workers' strike was not just about labor rights and jobs, it was also about the deplorable working conditions and the lack of regard for the health and safety of sanitation workers, who were primarily black men. Two Memphis garage collectors, E. Cole and Robert Walker, had died on the job. Dr. King's direct engagement and support for these workers highlighted the connection between social justice and environmental working conditions. Environmental injustice continues today. You all have heard about the contaminated water in Flint, Michigan, to our very own Port of Providence, where we experienced dirty fires with plumes of black smoke, toxic spills on Allen's Avenue, and the stench of poor air quality emanating from the polluting facilities and businesses near vulnerable communities in South Providence. We all know that these issues are not isolated incidents, but part of a broader pattern of historical systemic neglect and discrimination. Dr. King's historical call for equality and justice demands that we confront these disparities and work towards a fix where your race or your socioeconomic status does not matter. That includes our friends and neighbors right here in Providence. I spoke a minute ago about the Port of Providence and environmental harms there. Why? Why should Port of Providence neighborhood communities be subject to the most harm? Simply because they have less political power? Simply because of the color of their skin? Or the balance in their bank accounts? That's why we organize. That's why we fight. Because we deserve a healthy, thriving environment too. Dr. King believed in the power and influence of nonviolent civic action. It's encouraging to see so many folks and organizations out in the freezing cold today as a collective. As we confront our environmental challenges today, we should be motivated by his achievements to work together and advocate for sustainable practices that protect us and our planet for future generations. To do so, we must hold corporations and our government accountable for their impact on our planet and advocate and prioritize meaningful policies that protect the health and well-being of us all. As we draw inspiration from Dr. King's emphasis on nonviolent civil action, let's remember that he believed in the power of empathy, love, compassion, and grassroots activism that gave voice to the hopeless, all while speaking truth to power and the misguided. Our advocacy is guided by this tradition. We seek to shift the balance of power so communities can create their own path forward to demand justice and purposeful change. As we reflect on Dr. King's legacy, let us remember that the fight for justice is broad and long. It encompasses not only civil, human, and economic rights, but also the right to a safe and healthy environment. Protecting the environment and advocating for environmental justice is merely an extension of Dr. King's dream, a dream of a just and equitable society where every individual can live out their own version of the American dream on a healthy planet, regardless of their background or socioeconomic status. In conclusion, so let us work together to ensure that Dr. King's vision for equality and justice extends to every aspect of our lives, from the soil we walk on to the air we breathe. It is through our collective efforts that we can create a society where we can empathize and show each other that we understand and can share the feelings of others. Then we can truly care, love, and support each other as human beings for the betterment of our planet, society, and for the benefit of future generations. I'm Darrell Brown, and I want to say, Donald Trump is now President of the United States. What we have to do is keep the faith, stay strong, and stay in the fight. Thank you.